September 3, 1989 at 8 p.m., a Boeing 737 is flying high above the Amazon jungle. Inside the cockpit, everything looks normal. The instruments are stable. The engines are steady. The flight is supposed to land in just a few minutes. But outside the window, there is nothing. No city lights. No horizon. Only a vast black void stretching in every direction. Bellum Control, this is Flight 121. Do you copy?
Over.
Bellum, this is 121. We are not receiving you. Please respond.
Over.
No response. Passengers sit calmly, believing landing is near. But something is deeply wrong. The aircraft is not where it should be. What went wrong? Why can they not find the airport? And how did this flight get lost? If you enjoy real aviation investigations like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment where you are watching from. Your support helps bring more true stories like this to life. To understand what really happened, we need to go back. September 3, 1989. Brazil. A vast country with one of the largest rainforests on Earth. The Amazon. In many areas, there are no roads and no cities. Only wilderness. Navigation here is not simple. The airline operating this flight was VARIG. At that time, it was one of the largest airlines in Brazil. It handled most domestic flights and had a strong reputation. Its Boeing 737 fleet was the backbone of operations. But the way VARIG structured its routes would later become important. Flights often had multiple stops, like a train moving from one station to another. The aircraft involved was a Boeing 737-200, built in 1974, 15 years old at the time of the accident. It was powered by two Pratt & Whitney engines, known for reliability. The cockpit was not modern. It used analog instruments. One of the most critical was the horizontal situation indicator. It showed the aircraft heading. Another system on board was the performance management system. It tracked distance and fuel. But it had a limitation. It only counted how far the aircraft had traveled. That meant if the aircraft flew in the wrong direction, the system would still show progress. It would not warn the crew. Could a system like this hide a critical error? The crew changed during the journey. From Brasilia, a new captain took control, 32 years old, experienced with around 7,000 flight hours, confident and respected. The first officer was younger, less experienced, only about a year with the airline. The cockpit culture was strict. The captain made the final decisions. The first officer supported. But what happens when the captain is wrong? Passengers on board were mostly local travelers. Some were heading north through the Amazon region. A football match was taking place that day, Brazil versus Chile. Some passengers were listening on radios. The mood was normal, relaxed. No one suspected danger. For them, it was just another flight. But inside the cockpit, a small mistake was already waiting to unfold. At Maraba, the aircraft prepared for its final leg, a short 40-minute flight to Belém. The airport had no full air traffic control, only a radio operator. Visibility was slightly reduced due to smoke from farming fires. The captain reviewed the flight plan. It showed a heading, 027.0 degrees, but it was printed as 0270. No decimal point visible. Here the problem begins. The captain read the number as 270 degrees. That means west. But Belém was actually northeast. The correct heading was 027 degrees. A completely different direction. A simple formatting detail. The aircraft would now fly in the opposite direction. And no one realized it. The captain set the heading on his instrument. 270 degrees. The first officer did not independently verify the flight plan. Instead, he copied the captain's setting. This removed the chance of cross-checking. Another layer of safety was lost. Why did no one question it? The aircraft took off into evening sky, climbing smoothly. It followed the set heading perfectly. But that heading was wrong. Instead of moving toward Belém, the aircraft was flying deep into the Amazon. Away from help, away from its destination. He assumed it was normal. Communication attempts also failed, but outside nothing matched. No lights, no city, only jungle. The aircraft continues deeper into the night. Inside the cockpit, the confusion grows slowly. But outside there is nothing. No lights, no signs of a city. The first officer tries again to contact. Why is there no response? Is the radio failing? Or are they simply too far away? To understand this problem, we need to look at radio communication. Aircraft use very high-frequency radios for short-range contact. As far from the airport, the signal will not reach. That means no communication. So if the crew cannot contact Bellum, it could mean they are not near it at all.
The crew switches to high-frequency radio.
This system can travel much farther, but it is not direct control. It is an information service relaying messages. The controller gives descent clearance, but there is no radar. He cannot see the aircraft position. He assumes the aircraft is near Bellum. 20,000 feet. The crew looks outside again. Still nothing. No river, city lights, just darkness. The system shows they have passed the destination point. The number turns negative. This means they should already be over the airport. But there is no airport, only jungle. How is that possible? At this moment, a critical decision is made. The captain believes they have flown past Bellum due to poor visibility. He decides to turn back. This is known as continuation bias, when a pilot sticks to an assumption even when evidence suggests otherwise. Instead of questioning the heading, they continue trying to make the situation fit the belief. That decision will cost them. They turn east, trying to locate the city. The first officer begins searching for radio signals, a football match, then a religious program. The captain believes these are from Bellum, but they are not. They are coming from completely different cities far away. The crew now has false confirmation. They think they are near Bellum, but they are hundreds of kilometers away. This creates a dangerous illusion. When pilots believe incorrect information, they build decisions on it. Each step takes them further from reality. The aircraft descends lower, now at 4,000 feet. The captain uses weather radar to scan the terrain. He sees a large river. He assumes it is the Amazon River. This strengthens his belief. But it is actually the Xingu River, far south of Bellum. Another misinterpretation error, believing it leads to the destination. But it is leading them deeper into isolation. Fuel consumption becomes critical. Flying much longer than anticipated. Something is wrong.
The readings, they match. This can't be right.
But the coordinates align with the manifest.
Oh God, no.
The heading. 270 degrees. It should have been 027. They have been flying west instead of northeast. This moment changes everything. The realization hits. They are lost. Completely lost in one of the...
No radar support.
And no clear idea of their position. The captain informs control of an instrument problem.
But that is not the truth.
The instruments are working. The error is human.
But now survival depends on decisions. They attempt to find navigation beacons.
Signals appear, bleeding, reflected from distant stations. The crew does not verify the Morse identifiers. A basic procedure is skipped. Why? Because stress is rising, time is running out, and in high-pressure situations, small checks are often ignored. Their last reliable navigation method. The aircraft unknowingly passes near a military airfield. It could have been used for an emergency landing. Fuel was still enough at that moment. But the crew does not know it exists. A navigation chart was on board, but it was never used. Later investigators would find it still in the cockpit. A missed opportunity. One that could have changed everything. Fuel levels drop dangerously low. The captain makes an announcement. An emergency landing will be attempted in the jungle. Passengers react in different ways. Some pray. Some panic. Some try to stay calm. But can they survive what comes next? The engines begin to fail one by one. First, the left engine loses power. Then the right. Fuel is gone. Only basic instruments remain. The aircraft is now gliding silently over the jungle. No power or any visible clearing. But there is nothing, only trees stretching endlessly below. To understand what happens next, we need to look at glide flight. When engines fail, an aircraft can still travel forward by descending slowly. Pilots must control speed too shallow and they stall. In this case, the crew is trying to stretch distance, hoping to find a safe landing area. But the terrain is unknown. At 9:06 local time, the aircraft makes contact, not with ground, with trees. The canopy is dense. Tall trees absorb the first impact. Then more strikes follow. Metal tears, wings break. The fuselage is thrown through the forest. Finally, it stops. Silence fills the cabin. The impact is violent but not instantly fatal for many on board. How is that possible? The forest actually reduces impact force. Trees break the descent gradually. This prevents a direct high-speed crash because of this. But not all. Several passengers suffer fatal injuries. Those without seatbelts are thrown forward. The cabin turns into chaos within seconds. Inside the wreckage, the captain regains control quickly. Darkness surrounds them. No rescue lights, no sound of aircraft, no indication that anyone knows where they are. Within an hour, a terrifying truth becomes clear. No one is coming. At least not yet. Should send a signal after a crash. But this model only activates in water. The aircraft is on land, so it remains silent. The captain attempts a solution. He tries to activate it manually using liquid. Eventually, the signal is detected by a passenger device. Or will it be lost in the vast wilderness? Back at Belém, the aircraft is declared overdue. Search operations begin. But there is a problem. The last known communication suggested the aircraft was near Belém, so search teams focus there. They are looking in the wrong place. Hundreds of kilometers away from the actual crash site. Time passes. Water becomes critical. Food is limited. Injured passengers begin to deteriorate. After nearly 48 hours, a group decides to leave the crash site. They move through dense jungle, cutting through vegetation. Eventually, they reach open land. A farm. The first human contact. They must relay the message through another location using radio. At first, no one believes them. Officials think the aircraft is near Belém. Not here. The survivors repeat their message again and again. Flight number.
Details, proof.
Slowly, the truth reaches the right people. Search teams redirect. Aircraft begin flying over the correct area. Supplies are dropped. Rescue helicopters arrive. One seriously injured passenger is evacuated first. Others must wait another night. Food arrives. Water is secure. Help is finally close. After 63 hours, all 12 have died. 42 survive, including both pilots. But survival does not end the story, because one question still remains. How did a fully functional aircraft with experienced crew become lost in one of the most controlled industries? Because one question still remains. How did a fully functional aircraft with experienced crew become lost in one of the most controlled industries in the world? What chain of events allowed this disaster to happen? And could it have been prevented? Investigators begin with a simple question. Was there any mechanical failure? The answer is clear: no. Engines were working until fuel exhaustion. Navigation instruments were operational. Nothing was broken. The cause must lie elsewhere. But where exactly? Investigators test readability. They confirm that without clear formatting, it can be misinterpreted. The captain read it as 270 degrees. A simple error. Standard procedure requires independent verification. He should have checked the flight plan himself. Why did he not challenge the captain? The answer lies in cockpit culture. At that time, hierarchy was strong. Evidence was interpreted to support that belief. The first officer noticed inconsistency, but his input was limited. This prevented correction of the error early in the flight. Navigation procedures are also reviewed. The crew did not properly use available aids. Non-directional beacons and VOR signals could have revealed the wrong direction within minutes. But these checks were skipped or misinterpreted. In aviation systems, redundancy exists for safety, but it only works if used correctly. Here, multiple layers failed at the same time. Investigators also analyze misleading signals. Each small misinterpretation reinforced the wrong belief. Legal consequences follow. Both pilots are found responsible for negligence. The captain loses his license permanently. The first officer career effectively ends. But beyond punishment, the aviation industry looks for lessons. Because the goal is not blame, the goal is prevention. One major change is formatting. Flight plans are updated to avoid confusion. Clear separation of numbers, no ambiguous representation.
Another major focus is crew resource management.
Equal communication between pilots. Encouraging challenge and verification. ensuring that no single mistake can go uncorrected.
Verified. Data cross-checked.
The accident proves something critical. Even small errors can lead to major disasters when combined. Each alone is minor. Together, they become deadly. This is known as error chain. Today, aviation is safer because of lessons like this. System designed to catch human mistakes. But the core lesson remains simple. Always question. Always verify. Because in aviation, direction is everything. If you found this story valuable, make sure to subscribe and stay with us for more real aviation investigations. Because every accident carries a lesson. And understanding those lessons is what keeps future flights safe.